All right, for today's video review, we're going to be taking a look at Masters of the Universe Origins Sorceress. And yeah, this is the second time that we've gotten the Sorceress in the Origins line. The first one that we got was, of course, the pack-in figure with the Castle Grayskull set. And this time around, they've decided to give her actual, like, cartoon colors. And yeah, I mean, obviously, I already had a Sorceress because I had Castle Grayskull, but this is the one that has like the color scheme from the cartoon that really looks like I feel like the figure ought to. And yeah, I mean it's a bit of a thing where it's like, yeah, I mean they've basically got us to buy the figure twice, but it's not like I wouldn't have bought Castle Grayskull even if it didn't come with any form of the sorceress. So it's not too bad. I'm not too upset about having to get this figure a second time, but it is mostly the same figure. In terms of articulation, it's a pretty standard Origins figure. The head, although, I mean, well, the head's a bit different because on the Sorceress mold, the head is kind of drooped over the wings like this, so you don't really get like a ton of movement, like a little bit of wiggle back and forth, but not really a whole lot. The arms are on, universal joints there at the shoulders that can rotate all the way around. She's got a bicep swivel at the elbow, about 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. The wrists can rotate, and they've got that separate hinge there. Do the female body type figures have the same? I guess they don't. I don't know if she has the same thing where you're supposed to be able to rip her joints off. It doesn't feel like it. I hadn't really tried until now, but it certainly does not feel like it. She's got a waist cut, which it kind of breaks up the painted image there of her little like feather pattern, but it still works relatively well enough. Her hips can go forward about that far, back about that far, and out to the side. She's got a thigh swivel at the knee, just like most of them do. About 90 degrees of bend at the knee. She's got that boot cut, which, unlike the big muscly male sculpted figures, her boot cut I think actually works pretty well because she's got a fairly cylindrical leg there, so it actually looks like her leg is in the boot, even when it's rotated different ways, which I don't think is true of most of the male sculpted figures. Her feet can rotate forward and back, and then they've got that tilt that kind of, when you rotate it, it tilts out to the side as well. And with her, you can actually activate that ankle tilt and then rotate the leg so her foot is still facing forward even when she's got the tilt, which is, not really how most of them operate. And then last but not least, her wings can fold up about that much to about like that. And I like that look a lot better. I assume that this is still a clear plastic piece, just like the original one is, and is just painted. But worth mentioning, it feels about the same kind of plastic, the same like consistency. But yeah, I definitely prefer this look. The weapon that she comes with, or not weapon, I guess, but her staff is pretty much exactly the same. There might be like a very slight difference in terms of the white plastic hue. Like hers seems like very, 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 very slightly like more pure white, but I'm not even sure. That might just because because I had this one for a little while and it's changed color a little bit over time. It's very subtle, but I do find that she holds it a bit better than the original use of this mold. I don't know. That might just be like user quality control things, or like varied quality control things. It might be that your sorceress that comes with Castle Grayskull holds hers totally fine. I also find that the sorceress for my Castle Grayskull, for whatever reason, can't like really bring this hip in any further than that, and she doesn't have that problem, which is good. I mean, it's mostly like the same body parts, the same body type as like the other, like Tila and Evelyn, most of the, female figures. And what's nice is with the new release of her, they've opted to use the new knees that they sort of created for like as a running change for the female body type. So like, her knee is like okay, but they're like a little weird and kind of draped over the rest of her leg, whereas hers are a lot, they've kind of sculpted it to actually have like a kneecap, and I feel like that looks a lot more natural than the old one did. So that's nice that they did that improvement. But in terms of other comparisons, here she is with if I can get her standing, with He-Man and Skeletor, of course. Here she is with Masterverse He-Man and Skeletor, who of course, you know, she's not really meant to go with, but that's what they look like. Gosh, she's got small feet, so it is somewhat hard to keep her standing. Here she is for a Transformers comparison with AirRaiser. I feel like that's probably the most apt comparison there. And here she is with Buzz Off, the only other figure from the wave that I plan to pick up. And they look good together. Not that, you know, they have any particular business being with each other, but there they are. But yeah, you know, overall pretty simple figure. I mean, she's still a pretty standard Origins figure. I really prefer this color scheme to the all white. And she's got nice like painted detail on her eyes too, like good detail there. And like the original one kind of had that too, but it definitely feels a little bit more lively on her, probably just because of like the choice of colors that they chose for her, you know, skin tone and her lips. Just feels a little bit more natural. I don't know. That might just be me, but looks very nice. And those the new colors definitely pop a lot more than the original. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to her. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have Masters of the Universe Origins Sorceress.